Hi everyone. It's time to continue exploring the music genre iceberg. We have already been through 3 of the tiers before, and it's time to finish this. So the last genre that we explored was, well, it's not really a genre, but it was film score, which was right in the middle of the third and fourth tier. Now, what I'm doing here, in case you weren't here the previous time, is that I'm looking at the genres. If I know the genre, if it seems like a very obvious type of genre that probably everybody knows, I'm not going to go a lot deeper into them. I'm just going to say my opinion. Yeah, man, nah, man. That's just it. And maybe I'm going to talk about a few bands or a few projects that I enjoy. And in the case I don't really know the genre, I am going to go to Rate Your Music, the platform Rate Your Music. I am going to look for the genre, see, maybe read a short explanation of what the genre is about, and finally look some of the best rated releases from that genre on Rate Your Music, of course, which seems to be a sort of trustworthy site to check out this thing. Now, as I said, we were on the film score genre, which we agreed could be any genre, so there's no way to really say yeah man or nah man. There's definitely good film scores and not so good film scores. So it's time to continue. We have, I think, 5 tiers left. And well, to be honest, I don't think most of this iceberg is very fair. I think some of the genres on the deepest levels really aren't as underground as the chart thinks it is. I think they just threw as many genres as possible into this chart, so it's just an opportunity to get to know new genres. Now, the first genre that we have in this tier is Electro Industrial, which to me seems a bit repetitive. You know, industrial usually already implies some electronic elements, but I am guessing, I am trying to figure out if maybe Electro Industrial is more inclined to the electronic dance music genre. So I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look this up and see what I get. Let me just look for genre this time. That's pretty cool. It says here Electro Industrial, also known as electro with a K, is a form of industrial music formed in the late 1980s and early 1990s that grew out of a combination of EBM and industrial. What is EBM? I'm getting all sorts of branches. Electronic body music. Oh, first used by Kraftwerk. Okay, I know Kraftwerk. Repetitive or danceable rhythms and undistorted vocals. Okay, I think I'm getting the idea. And it says it maintains some of the danceability of EBM, but trades in the clean and stripped down approach of EBM for the harsher elements and more layered and complex sound of older industrial. Okay, so let's see the genre chart. Let's see what sort of music this is. So apparently the best rated album, which could be considered electro-industrial, is Doomsday Back and Forth Volume 5 by Skinny Puppy, which I haven't heard, and it is classified as industrial and electro-industrial. But interestingly enough, this album, Pretty Hate Machine by 9 Inch Nails, this is also considered as electro-industrial. I've heard songs from this album. I haven't really heard the full album yet, but I pretty much know what this is about. Still, because I already know 9 Inch Nails, I'm just gonna take a quick listen to Skinny Puppy Doomsday Back and Forth. It says, oh, it's a live album. That makes it more interesting. It's a live album. And let's see what it is. I will play a few snippets for you. Obviously, I won't be able to play the full song, because that would get the video blocked. It's happened before. I don't mind it if it's demonetized. It's not like I make $1 million per video, but I definitely don't want it blocked. So I'm going to mute the music and maybe only play a few interesting parts. But obviously, if you want, you can look it up. So this is fucking hell, Skinny Puppy, Doomsday Volume 5. Let's see if I can find this on YouTube. Now this is from All Music. This is from All Music. Well, this seems to be from that album. So far it's pretty danceable, yes. But there's this distorted guitar. Listen to this. So yes, apparently it's a very good example of what the genre is according to radio music. And yeah, it is pretty repetitive, but very enjoyable. Yeah, it seems like the full song is probably going to be like this. Listen to this. I can definitely picture myself dancing to this in a very sweaty and dark club. But yeah. Alright, I think I've heard enough of the genre. Assuming it's a very good example of the genre, I would definitely give it a yeah, man. This is something I would definitely listen to. Alright, so let's continue to the next genre. Horrorcore. I know horrorcore. I haven't really heard much of it, but I know that it is supposed to be some very hardcore hip hop with horror focused lyrics. They may probably talk about themes you would find in a horror movie. Probably killing, being chased by a killer, dying, and it includes lots of dark. It includes very dark comedy, and I really enjoy that. I think dark comedy is probably the only type of humor that I actually do find funny, when it works, of course. And well, as an example, Marine Welsh says here in the chat, listen to Insane Clown Posse for horrorcore. I didn't know ICP was considered as horrorcore. I have heard them. I didn't know they rapped about horror themes, but I have heard them. And because they have kind of become a meme, all of these juggalo things, because they have kind of become a meme. I haven't really taken them seriously yet, but I could definitely listen to one of their albums, see if I can enjoy them. On the other hand, I have also heard Grave Diggers. Grave Diggers is probably the first horrorcore project that I ever heard. It's really fucking fun. There's this song called I think it's called 555 Suicide or 10800 Suicide, something number of telephone numbers suicide. It's really fun. Obviously it's not for the squeamish. It has got some pretty explicit lyrics, but I think that's kind of the point, right? They want to shock the audience. And well, I guess some of early Eminem could also classify as horrorcore, the Slim Shady LP. It's got some really dark moments, some very darkly funny moments, and I really enjoy it too. So I will give horrorcore a definite yeah, man. Now we have downtempo. I think I have heard downtempo music, but I never really quite understood what it really meant. Well, I think probably the name of the genre is saying something. It's kind of the opposite of up-tempo. It's really slow electronic music, very chilly as far as I understand. And one example that comes to mind from downtempo is Boards of Canada. Boards of Canada, of course, actually mix together very many different genres, including, I think, down tempo and IDM and ambient music. But that's pretty much the only example I have now. So let us look into radio music for the genre down tempo and see what this really is. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so it says here downtempo is a type of relaxed, low intensity electronic music which emerged from the Ibiza club scene. Ibiza. Often instrumental, it features slower tempos than house or techno and tends to be more groove driven than ambient. And yeah, I associate it too with trip hop. So let's see the albums. Ah, well, what did I even click? Down tempo? Yes. Well, it's not really on the genres here, but these two albums I absolutely love. They are some of my favorite albums of all time. Dummy by Portishead and Mexanine by Massive Attack. They are perfect albums, and I absolutely love them. But yes, I more than downtempo, I consider them to be trip hop. But still, if really downtempo is something that similar to trip hop, which I think it is, apparently it is, I definitely give it a yeah, man. Okay, let's continue with the chart. Ah, and I just looked this up. EBM, electronic body music. I didn't know about this until just a few minutes ago. EBM, and I didn't really quite get it. I didn't really quite get it. All I know is that apparently Kraftwerk pioneered it, but what didn't Kraftwerk pioneer anyway? So let's just look it up again. EBM. Which says here electronic body music, first used by Kraftwerk in the 70s, but more popularly by EBM pioneers Front 242 in the 1980s. And it's beat driven and melodic rather than what was typical of industrial music at the time. So, yes, it's like post industrial or electronic dance music. So, let's see what we get. This is totally new to me. But electronic music is so broad, I can't even seem to see the end of it. So I haven't really heard any of this, but the first two albums are by the same project, Frontline Assembly. First one is Tactical Neural Implant, and the second is Hardwired. I think I should listen to the first one, not only because it is the best rated, but also because it is from 1992 instead of 1995. Oh, you want the link to the iceberg? Let me send it to you. I think it is that one. Okay, so let's check Tactical Neural Implant. That's a pretty cool fucking name. Tactical Neural Implant. Frontline Assembly. Apparently not very popular. But here's the full album. Let me just check if the audio is on. Yeah, okay, I got it. Mind the ad. Let's check this out. Another ad. Okay. Lots of field recordings I hear, like, I don't know, probably cicadas. Cicadas, is that the pronunciation? Listen to this. Oh, it started. Steady beat. And it's growing more dense, more elements come into the music now. Now we have a very distorted voice, panning from one side to the other. Listen to this. Very enjoyable. It isn't very different apparently from Electro Industrial. Ah, that voice. Very heavy, very dark. I love it. This is the music of the future. This is what I think people from the past, from the 70s, for example, I think this is what they thought we would listen to in 2020. Ah, listen to this. You even have like these laser synthesizers. Very futuristic, but extremely enjoyable. Think I get it now? I think I get it now. Just like Electro Industrial. Yeah, man. It's pretty fun. I'd listen to this on a daily basis. Let's continue with the chart then. Okay, so the next genre here is art rock. This is another one of those genres like indie rock that I don't think should really be a genre. I know it's controversial. The other day in the first stream, someone told me, well, actually, indie rock is more defined than you think. And maybe that's right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe art rock is also more defined than I think. But I think it's still kind of weird that someone would, from the beginning, classify their music as art rock. I think it should be up to the audience to decide whether this music is artistic or not. I think it's kind of a pretentious term. If someone defines their own music as art rock, I would just think they're pretentious and maybe automatically dislike their music. I don't know. But I just don't like the term as a genre. But I think I kind of know what they're trying to say. I've heard so much art rock, but I have disregarded them as art rock that I don't even know what bands classify as it or not. But I have heard the term for even some bands which have nothing to do with each other. For example, I have heard System of a Down called art rock, but I have also heard Art Bears, which has the term art bears from Fred Frith, called art rock together, and they're absolutely different. Even the Rolling Stones, I think, have been called art rock. It's weird, but let's see what Rate Your Music has to say about art rock. Okay, I'm gonna take that into account. I think, haven't we already been through IDM, Marin? Haven't we? I think I discussed Aphex Twin and I discussed Boards of Canada in the previous stream, but I don't remember if I actually looked it up. Okay, let's see art rock. The term art rock has been employed to describe several works of rock music developed right after the 1960s psychedelic rock explosion. Following on the heels of this phenomenon, art rock has been the result of musicians developing an interest towards a handful of forms of music out of the boundaries of rock, and in general terms, making an attempt to break away as much as possible from the constraints imposed by rock and roll and other forms of rock and roll. Well, yeah, see, this is what I meant. Even, for example, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which I think is a masterful album, it's been classified as art rock, but I don't know. To me, it's just it's just experimental psychedelic rock, which I wouldn't automatically call artistic, just because it's trying to do something outside of these boundaries of rock and roll or Pet Sounds. I don't know. To me, it's a bit of a pretentious term, and of course, I forgot about the most artsy rock album of all time, The Velvet Underground and Nico. Yeah, I mean it's a great album, one of my absolute favorites, but uh, calling it art rock from the beginning is weird. Let's see the genre chart. Let's see the best rated albums. See, this is what I meant. I love OK Computer, one of another one of my favorite albums of all time. And I love Wish You Were Here, and I love In the Court of the Crimson King, and I love Kid A, and I love The Dark Side of the Moon, and I love The Velvet Underground and Nico, and I love In Rainbows. Look at this, and I love Red, and I love Animals, and I love Low by David Bowie, and I love Marquee Moon. And well, this one I haven't heard it, but you know what I mean. I love Honky Dory, and all of these albums are so different. There's no way in hell you can compare OK Computer to Wish You Were Here. They are different. In the Court of the Crimson King is it's very much different from Wish You Were Here, and yeah, and they are both progressive rock, but they have really nothing to do. So I wouldn't say it's fair. I wouldn't call it fair to say art rock is really a genre. I think it's an approach to rock music, which I totally agree. You can make a very generic type cookie cutter rock music style of music, and it's okay as far as you like it and it's fun, I guess. I don't think all music has the responsibility of being innovative or ambitious, not at all. And I respect any artist that's trying to do something different, which obviously they won't be able to because originality doesn't exist anyway. That's that's a topic for another day. But still, yeah, OK Computer is to me it's just alternative rock slash experimental rock, and it's the same. Wish You Were Here for me. It's just progressive rock, psychedelic rock, and in the Court of the Crimson King is just progressive rock, some free jazz. I meant to say jazz fusion, and some psychedelic rock too. So yeah, I don't know, art rock as a genre, I don't really like it. Okay, let's see. Um, Hi Omar. Omar Torres says lowercase is that below? I don't know. Sounds like someone that only listens to very straightforward pop folk would say. What do you mean? Like you think the genre kind of sounds like pop folk type of music? I actually know what. I actually do know what what lowercase is. Where is it? Where is lowercase? Is it at the end? Well, when we get there, I guess. But this is so difficult for my eyes to try to look for a genre in here. Ah, yeah, I see it. Lowercase. Yeah, lowercase. I might go ahead and explain it right now. I actually know what lowercase is. Lowercase is a very extreme form of ambient music, which consists in recording very low volume sounds, for example, folding paper or the flapping of a butterfly. And when you record these sounds and process them, you amplify these sounds until they become a sort of ambient noise. I know, I know this explanation might not be sufficient, but that's pretty much what it is. Recording very low sounds and amplifying them to create a new sort of texture. I think it's called lowercase because I read something that it doesn't wanna call the attention. They are just there, or something like that, like lowercase typing, whatever. But yes, that's what it is. And I have only heard one. I have only heard one lowercase album, which is called Forms of Paper by Steve. What was he called? Steve something. I don't remember his last name. Steve something. But this album, Forms of Paper, that's what it is. It's 1 hour of him folding paper and manipulating it in different ways, and then amplifying these sounds to create a new texture. That's what it is. Honestly, it's not something that I would listen to very often, but I think it's a cool experiment. Even I, even I, in one of my albums, tried a lowercase approach to one of my songs, or one of the sections of one of my songs, which I called "Brewing Some Coffee," all in lowercase. That's that's the name that I gave my song. Why? Because all I did is recording my coffee maker, brewing some coffee, and then I amplified the shit out of it twice, and I created this very harsh noise texture, and I combined it with some other sounds, and with a surreal skit of a man who wants to drink a coffee but can't because it keeps falling off the table. I know what lowercase is, and I even tried I even tried creating a lowercase landscape soundscape one time. It's fun. It's fun, but I wouldn't call it music. It's an approach to music and production. Okay, so I think based on that, when we get to lowercase, we don't have to look it up again. Okay, now psychedelia. I think it's pretty explicative, ain't it? It's psychedelic rock, a new approach to psychedelic rock. I am not really sure if it implies some other elements different from classic psychedelic rock, but I think projects like Animal Collective or Tame Impala would classify as neo psychedelia. Not sure. I think I should look this up anyways. Even though I think I have an idea, I should look it up. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Neo psychedelia is a broad term for referring to developments in psychedelia since the early 1980s, building on the drug-inspired styles developed in the 1960s. And it was used to refer to some artists like the Soft Boys, the Soft Boys, and the Church. I haven't heard any of those, but I have heard Spaceman 3, because I heard they were very shoegazy, and when I was really infatuated with shoegaze, I just listened to every single shoegaze band that I could find. So I think I know the idea. And of course I have of course I have heard Screamadelica by Primal Scream. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. I think I get the idea. So I think I was wrong. I think no, here it is. Here it is. Tame Impala, Animal Collective. So I definitely get the idea of neo psychedelia. It's alright. Sometimes it's a bit invasive to me. Sometimes psychedelic rock really doesn't tell me anything. It's not really my type of atmosphere. I don't usually find it very interesting, but from a production point of view, I think I think it is pretty cool, and I can appreciate lots of these efforts to create a psychedelic soundscape. I give it a yeah man. I like neo psychedelia, even though I'm not very familiar with it. Okay, let's keep going down. So we have death metal. See what I meant? I don't think death metal should be in this point of the chart. I'm not even paying attention to that at this point. I'm just looking at the genres. So death metal is I think you know it, but I'm gonna explain it anyways. Death metal is sort of a heavier evolution from thrash metal. That incorporates very fast tempos, blast beats, extremely distorted guitars, Cookie Monster type of growls. It's one of my favorite maybe one of my favorite metal subgenres, and especially technical death metal and progressive death metal such as Opeth or Obscura, Necrophagist. I love those bands, and I think death metal is a very respectable genre, and even though some of my favorite death metal bands are actually variations of death metal, like what I said, progressive metal or technical death metal, progressive death metal and technical death metal, I do like some very raw death metal too. I enjoy Cannibal Corpse. It was obviously one of the first death metal bands that I ever heard, and I still love them. They haven't changed much over the years. It's been, I think, 15 albums, and all of them sound very similar. But I don't give a shit. They are fun. They are very animalistic, very visceral, and I really like it. So yeah, death metal is, yeah, man. Now let's go to dark cabaret. This is a weird genre, dark cabaret, because the other day I actually looked up for pop punk, and I got the My Chemical album, The Black Parade, and it was classified as dark cabaret. So I am not even sure now what dark cabaret even means. So let's look it up. Let's see what we get. and it seems like something I would actually like. Okay, it says a dark, moody style of cabaret-inspired music. Instrumentation can be very varied, ranging from pianos and synthesizers to violins, cellos, and accordions, to acoustic and electric guitars and bass. UK's The Tiger Lilies were one of the first acts to play in this style in the mid 1990s, though the genre was popularized by the Dresden Dolls. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a lot of information about this, but let's check it out. That's interesting. Tom Waits. I love Tom Waits, but I haven't heard this album. And the second one is also Tom Waits. Now I have Willwood, Mark and the Mambas. I haven't heard it. And here's the Dresden Dolls. I think I should listen to the Dresden Dolls because I already know the style of Tom Waits, even though I haven't heard these two albums. But I didn't know about the Dresden Dolls before, and it seems to be an important part of the development of dark cabaret. So let's look this up, and it's the same title, the Dresden Dolls album. I guess all I get is playlists, but still. Well, let's play the album from here. Listen to that. That was a weird. That was a weird time signature. This sounds like ambient music for a Tim Burton movie. Please God forgive me for what I've just said, but that's the impression I get. Oh, listen to this. Pretty fun. Really, Bacchus? The Dresden Dolls? It's getting more intense. Took out the trash today and I'm on fire. Oh. My good friends who don't have the guts to very rock opera inspired. Obviously. It's pretty cool. Heart, so go it's pretty cool. I think now I see why the Black Parade was considered as dark cabaret, because it is very rock opera inspired too. Okay, I've heard enough. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I love the atmosphere, and I just love anything that sounds, that has this very gothy feeling to it. So yeah, man, dark cabaret, yeah, man, and I'm gonna get deeper into the Dresden Dolls. Now, political hip hop seems pretty explicative. Political hip hop, but I still wonder what sort of artists would classify into this. I am guessing probably Kendrick Lamar again. Conscious hip hop, political hip hop, seems like they go hand in hand. But let's look this out. I wonder if maybe NWA classifies as political hip hop. I mean, it was pretty political. But I didn't look for genres. Forgot. I didn't get anything. Political hip hop, maybe without the hyphen. Okay, also known as political rap. It says political hip hop is a style of hip hop music developed in the 1980s. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. They released the first well-known political rap single in 1982 called "The Message," which encouraged numerous hip-hop artists to address social and political subjects. And we also have Public Enemy, it looks like it, Public Enemy, Ice Cube, and Paris, The Coup, Marksman, and well, what it says is that this political hip-hop stems different approaches to politics, like black nationalists and Marxists and socialists and even anarchists. So let's see what releases we have. Public Enemy. I've been wanting for so long to listen to this album and I still haven't. Death Certificate by Ice Cube, pretty cool. America's Most Wanted. Not very subtle, but that's pretty cool. I haven't heard it either. I think I could hear one song from the first album. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. It's political hip hop, East Coast hip hop, hardcore hip hop, conscious hip hop. Let's see what song we get. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back. I don't know what song to hear that is. Maybe, the problem is that every time I listen to music, to any kind of music, I am not very good at getting the lyrics. I don't really pay much attention to the lyrics. I'm just not good at it. So I'm gonna have to look for a lyric video or something. And I say I'm not good at it because the music is already taking all of my attention, the music elements. So trying to focus on lyrics and music at the same time is quite difficult to me. I always need to listen to songs again, more than once, so that I can focus on the lyrics. But I don't seem to find one of these. Well, probably some of these is one of these songs is from that album, so let's take a look. Not very different from what I thought. Well, the thing with hip hop is that mostly all of their subgenres are based on the lyrics. Musically, it sounds very similar to what I was saying before, like it's just hardcore hip hop. But I guess it's the lyrics that make the difference. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I think I gave political hip hop a yeah, man. because I do enjoy this kind of aggressive approach to hip hop. However, again, I think because it's based on the lyrics, I would have to pay more attention to them the next time I listen. I usually don't do it, and I blame myself for that. Now we have power pop. I've heard this name before many times, but I never really quite got it. Power pop. It seems like just to be pop rock to me. So let's take a look at the definition here. It says here, power pop is a heavier style of pop rock that combines strong pop melodies with loud power chords. Sounds like pop rock to me. It is characterized by prominent electric guitars, clear vocals, crisp harmonies, economical arrangements. What does that even mean? And an energetic performance. And we got Badfinger, Raspberries, Cheap Trick, Big Star. That's at the beginning, and then we have artists influenced by it, which such as Matthew Sweet, Weezer. Oh come on, Weezer, the Posies, and Teenage Fan Club. Okay, let's see. So the first, I've seen this album as the number one album in many different genres now. This is indie rock and pop punk and power pop, and the three genres it is the first rated album. Well, not in power pop, because we have Big Star, Keep an Eye on the Sky as the number one album. It's an archival. Okay, guess it means a compilation album. Let's take a listen. Keep an Eye on the Sky by Big Star. No, Keep an Eye on the what? On the Sky by Big Star. Country Morn. Not many views I see, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? Well, I'm not hearing any of those electric guitars and power chords. The production is great, but I think it's a modern album. For some reason it sounds very old school. Maybe that's why it says it's an archival. Maybe it actually is old. Yeah, it's a box set. It's 5 fucking hours. 5 fucking hours, this album. Every time I see an album that lasts more than 1 hour, I think twice about listening to it. I think I need to be in a specific mood and I need to take the time to enjoy it. So there's no way in hell I'm gonna listen to a 5-hour archival album. I should start somewhere else, I think. But it's not bad. If this is really what power pop sounds like, I might give it a yeah, man. But I'm not very convinced yet. Okay, now what do we have? Have bebop. Bebop. Okay, I don't think I have to explain this to you, but bebop was the eventual evolution of jazz music in the 50s and the 60s. Figures like Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie. They tried a faster, more technical approach to jazz music based on chord changes and some other harmonic innovations. A very chromatic approach to it, and it's really cool and definitely one of my favorite approaches to jazz, especially the variations of bebop such as post-bop Think Charles Mingus, for example. I love it. I love bebop, and I think it is the best way to introduce someone to jazz. I think once they listen to bebop language and they get used to bebop language, there is really not much more to know about what jazz is. That's what I think. I think the essence of jazz really is encapsulated in bebop music. I love it. Yeah, man. This is the best yeah, man I've given to any genre in this chart. Now we have industrial rock. Yeah, industrial rock. We've talked about industrial music before. I love it. I would say that my favorite project from industrial rock is Nine Inch Nails. I love how Trent Reznor used to produce his music back in the 90s. It was very noisy, it was very atmospheric, very heavy, dense, dark. I love that shit. And it's definitely been a very heavy influence to other modern artists, especially noise artists. I think, for example, this 2019 album "You Won't Get But What You Want" by Daughters, it is just so much industrial influenced that I love it. So yeah, industrial rock gets a yeah man by me. And in case you didn't really know what it is, I think industrial rock can be classified as this very noisy electronic combination of noise music and rock music. Usually uses synthesizers. It has all of these heavy drum sounds that probably sound like machines in a factory, and that's probably why it got the name industrial rock. It's really cool. Now let's continue with the chart. Britpop, not to be confused with Britpop, I guess. Britpop, I don't think I've heard about this genre before. Britpop, but it does kind of sound like pop music which is made with 8-bit sounds. I don't know. Let's take a listen. First, let's look what it is. Let's look this up. Okay, Britpop is a style that fuses beat music, which I don't really know what it is yet, with additional synths, beats, guitars, and modern production values, emphasizing highly catchy melodies and relatively fast tempos. I'm gonna go straight to the charts. Okay, the first album here is "He's Not With Us Anymore" by Keisho Dad. That's great. Keisho Dad. Let's listen to it. It's pop punk, power pop, beat pop, emo, and progressive pop. But I want to hear the beat pop part of it, so let's look it up. And there's not even any suggestion. In case you're that. This is the one. They included this very post-hardcore influenced scream. Really weird decision. Listen to this. I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it. Let's go ahead. I think it would do a lot better without the beat pop thing that they are supposed to be including. Those synths, those beat sounds. I don't really think it fits this kind of music, and I think I've told you this before, right? This sounds just too happy to me. I am not really into happy sounding music, so to say. It makes me anxious. So if this is what beat pop sounds like, nah, man, it's not for me really. Although I really like the purple tone of this. I like purple. Now, let's continue with the chart then. Oh, hi Obi, that was called beat pop. Apparently just power pop. That was kind of pop punk influenced with beat sounds, which I guess is like these old school sounding synthesizers. Not really sure anymore. But that was the first album on the chart. I didn't really like it that much. So I gave it a nah, man. I'd skip it. So let's continue. Okay, let's go to this side. Psychedelic pop. Know what it is. I think it goes obviously hand in hand with psychedelic rock. And I think some bands such as the Beatles could be considered as psychedelic pop. And so others like the Doors. Psychedelic rock, psychedelic pop. It depends on how heavy it is, on a high degree. But I do enjoy it. I just don't listen to it very often, as I don't really listen to psychedelic rock very often. It's not my type of atmosphere. I find it very overwhelming. But again, I do appreciate the effort of creating a very, very full and rich soundscape. So I give psychedelic pop a yeah, man. But it's not really something I would listen to every day. Now, space ambient. That's pretty cool. Space ambient. I wonder how it is different from space rock, for example. I guess it's just less rhythmically inclined than other types of space music. So I'm gonna look it up. It says here, space music. Okay. Space ambient refers to a form of flowing and relaxing ambient music, often dubbed space music. The style typically employs sequences along with cosmic cosmic synthesizers, which are played in a sweeping and gradual manner. Okay, akin to and after utilizing aspects of drone. Seems like something I would like, maybe, if it really is similar to drone music. And I like it because it says that the soundtrack for Blade Runner by Vangelis, it could be classified as space ambient. And would they mention Brian Eno's, and if this album, how's it called? Green World something? I forgot the name. If that album classifies as space music or space ambient, I actually do enjoy it very much. So if that's what it is, space music, like soundtrack from Blade Runner, I do enjoy it, but I think it really does fit better as ambient music than something you would listen to individually without any other sort of visual aid. So I think man space music, any type of music that to me sort of depends on other media such as a movie or whatever. To me, it hasn't got the same charm as music that can be listened to individually. I'm not saying that you can't, obviously. I'm not saying you can't listen to the soundtrack of Blade Runner simply because you enjoy it, but that music obviously was made for the movie, and that's what makes the difference. Alright, so yeah, man, space ambient, meh. Now we have progressive rock. You probably already know that progressive rock is one of my favorite genres, whatever it means, because even I have had a hard time trying to define what progressive rock is. Most people think it's a complex type of rock music, which usually includes odd time signatures and influences from jazz and classical music, and it sometimes has these symphonic arrangements and so on and so on. And that might be true, but to me, the way I see progressive rock music is that it is any approach to rock music that tries to be a bit less, a bit more thoughtful in the music itself, because you might listen to it and it's not only that it sounds really nice, but that musically speaking there is something very interesting happening. And well, one of my favorite albums and bands of all time is King Crimson, which are the absolute masters of progressive rock and also the creators of progressive rock, in my opinion. And the thing about King Crimson is that they absolutely fucking slap. You listen to their music and it's awesome, even if you're not musically inclined. But if you are musically inclined, you will also find the music to be very interesting, and you can take lots of things from it. So yeah, progressive rock is the absolute definitive yeah man from me. Yeah man, no doubt about it. Now we have jazz rap. That seems like something I would enjoy, jazz rap, but I don't think I have heard much of it. Um, the only examples that come to mind, and I don't know if that might even apply, is Flying Lotus. And Flying Lotus, he has a very jazz influenced approach to production. If you listen to Cosmogramma, you're going to notice that there are lots of jazz influences in many of the tunes. I just don't think it's really rap. Obviously, there's a hip hop influence there, but I wouldn't call it rap. That's why I was saying that I don't know if it even applies. And well, To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick also has got some jazz influences. I just don't think those are the best examples of the genre. That's not the impression I get, so I'm just gonna look it up. Okay, it says here, a style of hip hop born out of the booming hardcore hip hop scene in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Jazz rap has a noticeably different feel, instead usually opting for a laid back mellow sound. Okay, and let's take a look at the charts. Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly is the best rated album from this genre. I expected it, and it's a beautiful album, one of my favorites of all time. And I do like. It was probably the first time I heard this jazz influence in a hip hop record. I know, quite late for me, but it is true. It was the first time I did. And I don't really know if I can name any other. I don't know any of these actually. I haven't heard any of these other albums. So I might take a look at one of these at least. Let's take a look at maybe the second one. Take a look at the votes. A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory. Jazz rap, East Coast hip hop, conscious hip hop. I'm gonna look it up. The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest. And here it is. Very heavy so far. Very, very dark. Well, I don't really hear a lot of jazz in this. At least not so far. Listen to this.
So together, bona fide strong, you need leverage to sever the unit. Yes, the unit.
It'd be awesome, Obi. It'd be awesome if jazz rap would really be that. Or polyrhythmic rapping. Microtonal autotune. I think most of the times these autotune arrangements really are microtonal. They sway from one side to the other. It's just probably already implied in the autotune. Listen to this. Well, the sax came into the music now, so I guess that kind of makes it jazz, right? Saxophone music. I love saxophone music. That's jazz. Nah, it's pretty cool, really. It's got a very dense and heavy atmosphere. I love that. I should definitely listen to more jazz rap because this is pretty cool. And I definitely give it a yeah, man, if this is what it really sounds like. Now let's continue with the chart. I think we have very familiar genres in here. Hardcore punk. As much as I love hardcore punk, I think musically speaking, it can be a bit, it can get a bit tiring, because I think intentionally hardcore punk is very primitive, very simplistic, which is okay because it fits the music, and I think that's fine. And actually, some of the bands that I used to listen to when I was a teenager, they were hardcore punk, and I think they shaped the way I see other types of music now. For example, the Dead Kennedys and Suicidal Tendencies, Black Flag. I love them. I love hardcore punk as a whole, but I definitely do enjoy more all of the subgenres that came from hardcore punk, especially the metal subgenres. I give hardcore punk a yeah, man, but I can only take one album a day. If I listen to more than half an hour of hardcore punk, you know, consecutively, I would get really tired because it does sound very samey. That's alright. I like this condensed energy, especially because the albums are usually very short and the songs are also very short, 1 minute and a half, sometimes even less than a minute. I think that's more reserved for grindcore anyway. But yeah, hardcore punk, yeah, man, it's great, but moderately. Now let's take a look at dark ambient. Love dark ambient. And even though I love dark ambient, most of the music from this style that I have heard doesn't really come from, from independent music projects, but they are designed for horror movies. That obviously you can describe a dark ambient. You could use that sort of music to be defined as dark ambient. And for example, the movie Sinister, I think it's got a great soundtrack, which is made out of different pieces from different artists, such as Ulver, the dark ambient era of Ulver, after they had their black metal era, and they also have Boris. They also have Sun O, which is more drone than dark ambient anyway, but I do like it. The way I see dark ambient is usually, well, ambient music, but pretty fucking scary. Music that is supposed to scare the shit out of you. And that's pretty noble, and I think it's very difficult to. I should listen, says Cachorro Dragao. You should listen to Hermeto Pascual. What is that, Poppy? What is that? I mean, what genre would you say that is? I can definitely listen to it. Just tell me what I should expect. Anyways, dark ambient. Yeah, man, I love it. Now, black metal. You probably already also know that I love black metal. I like raw black metal. I like, the classics. Dark Throne. I like Burzum. I like Gorgoroth. But more than black metal by itself, I like atmospheric black metal. I like black gaze. Actually, black gaze, I think, up to the same level as jazz, I would say is my favorite genre of all time. I love black gaze. I think when I hear black gaze, I think this was made for me. I really get into this atmosphere. I love it. How, dreadful and pessimistic it is. Man, but black metal, the raw type of black metal, I also really enjoy it. Because instead of being depressing, I find it very nihilistic, very, very destructive. And I also enjoy that very much. I love the raw production style of most black metal. I love how what word am I looking for? Uncompromising it is. What I mean is that they usually don't give a shit about anything, and I love that very much. And Cachorro says that Hermeto Pascual calls his music universal music. Now that's something new to me too. I'm gonna look it up, because I already know black metal, and yeah man, I love black metal. It's probably my favorite metal subgenre. Okay, Hermeto Pascual. I don't know what to go for. Perhaps the first one. Música da Lagoa. Okay, let's see. What a good start. I could listen to this. But more than listen to it, I would sample the shit out of this. Ambient drone says Obi wannabe cannot be. Ambient drone, which I guess is very similar probably to Sun O, right? Angelic process. Okay. Listen to this. I'd sample the shit out of this. I can already imagine a beat over it. I'm interested. Cerebro magnético? I'm interested. Now this is something different. Yeah, man. Oh, you motherfucker. This is great. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't even know what genre to call this. I don't know if universal music really fits. I obviously don't really think music is a universal language. I think that's a myth. But it is very interesting and I love it. And it is something that I would definitely listen to every day. You know, this kind of very dense, chaotic shit. That's what I am into. Ilza Nova says I should try. Ilza Nova. What would you say that is? Is that an album or is that an artist? Ilza Nova. Yeah, it's by him. All right. How dare he call this universal music? I know, I am sure that if you go and send this and make someone from, I don't know, if I take one of my neighbors right now and ask him if he enjoys this, he's gonna say, what the fuck is this? I wouldn't call it universal. It's definitely acquired taste. Pretty cool and pretty dense, just like I like it. Alright, and I'm gonna check out real quick that one, Angelic Process, The Promise of Snakes. Wait, The Promise of Snakes, Angelic Process, The Promise of Snakes. Alright. Oh my god. This shit is thick. Jesus Christ. This is something you would hear at the end of the world. Just like I like it. This is great, man. Thanks for the recommendation. This is great. I'm loving this. I don't know why I didn't know them before. All right, let's continue with the chart then. We're about to finish this one. We just have electropop. Electropop. I guess I probably know what that is, but it's kind of difficult for me to define it now. What's pop music, but it's electronic. It's electro oriented. It says here, electropop is a form of electronic pop music that emerged in the 2000s. Yeah, electronic dance music, synth pop, okay. Yeah, even Lady Gaga and Britney Spears could classify as electropop. First album is by The Knife, and then we have Kraftwerk. Even Charlie XCX classifies as electropop, obviously. Well, I have heard it. I have heard Gorillaz too. Great album. Plastic Beach. What else do we have? Kanye West. I haven't heard that one, but I do like Kanye West. As much as I hate him, his music is actually alright. Oh, Quiero Quiero Bonito, Bonito Generation. Yes. Yeah, I know what electropop is, and it's just, it seems like a very ambiguous term, but I like it. Yeah, man. Definitely yeah, man. Now we have glam rock. Not even sure what that is supposed to mean, but I know stuff like Kiss and Motley Crue is considered glam rock. I really don't like glam rock. I think most of it, Alice Cooper, I think possibly classifies as glam rock. I don't know, but usually I don't like it. Usually I think it's very watered down. I think it's very pretentious and simplistic. I don't really like it. I would give glam rock a nah, man. I think it's just really not my style. It doesn't really tell me anything. And finally we have stoner metal in this tier. Stoner metal. Which, as far as I'm concerned, is probably the style that Black Sabbath pioneered. This very slow, heavy, distorted type of heavy metal that is associated with hallucinogenic drugs, and that's why it's called stoner metal. Another great example, I think, is the album, what's it called, by Electric Wizard. I don't know if the album is called Funeralopolis. No. What's the album called, that one? By Electric Wizard. What's the album called? I think Funeralopolis is the song. Yeah. That album, what's it called? Ah, Dope Throne, yes. Dope Throne. I love this album. And I think that's another one great example of stoner metal. I do like it. Yeah, man, definitely. And, well, I especially like Black Sabbath. But what didn't Black Sabbath pioneer anyway? But it's great. And we are done with this tier. I think we have time. I think we have time to check one more tier before we leave. One more tier would be okay. And maybe we can check the last 3 tiers the next week, the next weekend. I'm sorry, by the way, if I always seem to make these streams quite late, but on the weekends I just wake up late. And when I have the time to do this, it's on the late afternoons. So I'm sorry if you don't get to catch them. By the way, I'm also concerned about the quality of these streams. At least on my monitor, it seems like I'm going quite slow. Is this stream somehow lagging? You should tell me. I am concerned about that because, well, I mean, I keep the streams, they are on my channel, and I would like you to actually be able to watch them and enjoy them. So if you see that there are some problems with the stream, you should tell me, and I might fix them for another time. I don't know, I'm just concerned about it. But it seems like it's quite fine so far. I don't know. I am not very good at streaming, honestly. I'm just experimenting with it. It hasn't been long since I've learned to do it. So let's continue with the next tier. Look at this guy, he's even growing fatter. He was happy and now he's become a fat, depressed guy. A neck beard. Okay, let's go into this one real quick. The first genre that we have in this tier is breakcore. I don't think I know what that is, but I just don't like the sound of it. Is that like the sort of stuff that Broken Side does? Or is that called something different? I think Cronkcore or something like that. I don't really know what breakcore is, but it just sounds like some very noisy synth-based type of electronic music. But I'm gonna look it up. Breakcore. Okay, breakcore is a form of hardcore EDM. Ah. Yes, characterized by use of complex chopped breakbeats. Breakcore songs are typically noisy and chaotic, I realized, and often feature samples from a variety of media including music, movies, and video games. Now, it seems to be... oh Jesus. Lollycore. I was just looking at this. I was gonna say it looks to be related to drum and bass, which I really do enjoy drum and bass. And it says here, this is interesting, the influence of digital hardcore on many early breakcore producers yielded a significant amount of hardcore punk influence that would largely disappear as the genre spread throughout Europe and the United States. Ah. Okay, so let's check out the charts. I don't think I know any of these, so I should listen to the first one. Okay, so the first album on this list is Rozgilak. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't think I'm even gonna try, but it's by Venetian Snares. What was that called? Ross. Okay, that's the one. That's the one. Let's listen to it. I like the cover, by the way. What is this? Guess it's just the intro. Ah. Listen to this, pretty cool. I've always liked this approach to drum and bass, like this chopped, broken type of feel. I associate it, of course, with Aphex Twin. Yeah, very chaotic. I love it. Extremely enjoyable. I love this kind of shit, and I'm definitely gonna listen to this one album. Looks great. I love the, probably those are samples, but I just love the way they were used to create this chaotic electronic atmosphere. And yeah, man, I realize sometimes my audio is out of sync, but it's weird because sometimes I try to fix it. I try to use the OBS feature of delaying the audio, but for some reason sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. What I mean is sometimes I get the audio is already synced with the video, and when I try to change it now it's right, but the next time I try it, now it's out of sync and I have to put it back to 0. It's kind of weird. I don't know what makes the difference, but I just hope that it doesn't really bother any of you. That's all I care about. But oh motherfucker, I think I really need to fix this. It's probably just my shitty internet, I don't know. Let me try and do something anyways. I don't know if this is gonna make any difference at all. Probably the quality of the video is a bit shittier, but oh well. But oh well, if not I'm gonna keep trying later. Anyways, let's continue with the chart. So I was here in breakcore, neo folk. I think that seems also very explicative. Probably a new approach to folk music, but I can't really name any artists now. They don't come to mind. So let's check it out. Okay, so it says neo folk is a genre of contemporary folk music that emerged in the mid-1980s from the post-industrial scene. The most notable pioneers of the genre are Death in June, Current 93 and Soul Invictus. It seems to be influenced by many different genres. The best rated album is Tenny. I love Tenny. if that is, well, that's pretty much what I was thinking about. I love Tenny, this Finnish dark folk band. I have stolen many elements from them for my own music. I love it. Folk aesthetic, that's the name of the compilation. It's archival too. It's really cool then. I get the idea. It's very rich musically speaking, harmonically speaking, and it's also got a very cool atmosphere, a very relaxing, natural atmosphere that I really enjoy. So yeah, neo folk gets a yeah man. I love it. If that's what it sounds like, if it sounds like Tenny, whatever it is pronounced as. Okay, the next genre is avant-garde metal. Avant-garde metal, a kind of a difficult genre to define, but I think I get the idea too. It's pretty much experimental metal, and I think of the likes of, I don't know, of Meshuggah, probably, that classifies as avant-garde metal. Maybe Psyopus classifies as avant-garde metal. But yeah, usually it's very complex, usually it's very chaotic. I love it. Maybe Gorguts also applies as avant-garde metal. I love Gorguts. And well, I would give it a yeah man, but again I think avant-garde shouldn't really be a genre. I think it should be an approach to songwriting. But it's pretty cool. Yeah man. And now we have abstract hip hop. I don't know what that's supposed to be trying to say, so let's look it up. So, abstract hip hop is a style of hip hop in which rappers use more abstract lyricism compared to what is more conventional within the genre. Oh, okay, so it's lyric based. Yeah, that's what I don't like about hip hop. It's usually lyric based. You know, the variations. Aha. Well, if the first album is Mad Villainy by Matt Villain, if you could consider that to be abstract hip hop, which I didn't know that was the term, I just called it experimental hip hop. I think it's great because this is one of my favorite hip hop releases of all time. It's definitely a masterpiece. So I think I'm getting the idea probably. Let's see what else we have. We have the MF Doom album, Food, which honestly I haven't heard, but I'm probably gonna do it sometime soon. We have Death Grips, B Disc from Death Grips. We have another Death Grip songs. We have some rap songs by Earth Sweatshirt, which I have heard. I think I get the idea. I like it. I think in many ways lyrics should be only what am I trying to say? A complement to the music instead of the main focus. That's at least that's what I think. I think music without lyrics is still music, but lyrics without music is not really it. And I think when some songwriters try a very abstract approach to their lyrics, it is a very noble task. Even some metal acts have used abstract lyrics for their compositions. What I mean is that they don't really include any lyrics, but they just have a vocal performance. One of those bands that comes into mind is Ghostbath. They are these black gaze, depressive black metal bands, and the dude doesn't really say any lyrics. He just screams and moans and howls, and it's great. I like that. I like that the lyrics don't really mean anything, but they just convey an emotion. So I think it's very similar in hip hop. If you have lyrics that are trying to just be abstract and are more for the sound of these words instead of the meaning of the words, I think it's great and I appreciate it very much. And yeah, man, Gorguts. I guess I love Gorguts, and I think I would call them avant-garde metal. Definitely, I think they have a very innovative and experimental approach, especially to guitar playing. Now let's continue with the next genre, dark wave. Now what it is, it's new wave with a dark atmosphere to it. And well, I guess you could call Depeche Mode to be dark wave. I like it very much. And some more modern bands that I can think of is She Wants Revenge. She Passed Away. She Wants Revenge. She Passed Away. I don't think it's a coincidence anyway. But yeah, that's what I think when I think of dark wave. And I definitely like it. I like anything that remotely sounds similar to post-punk, so I definitely like it. I even have a project called Terminal Lovers, in which I at least tried to have a dark wave sort of atmosphere. So yes, I love dark wave. I enjoy it very much. Yeah, man. Now, proto-punk is another kind of weird term for me. I know what it's trying to say is music that influenced the punk movement. And I have heard many different albums called proto-punk. I have heard the Velvet Underground called proto-punk, but what didn't the Velvet Underground pioneer anyways? Yes, but anyways, proto-punk. I've heard also fucking Captain Beefheart be called proto-punk, and I am not even sure about that. So let's take a look. Yeah, proto-punk is a fairly vague term, yeah, used to describe music that either influenced or resembled punk rock before the commercial breakthrough of punk in 1976. Yeah, the Sex Pistols, right? It says here, sometimes the line between proto-punk and punk rock is blurred. Even artists who belong to the CBGB I don't know what that means. Punk scene of the early to mid 1970 have been labeled proto-punk simply because they predate the commercial breakthrough of Sex Pistols, which is the commercial breakthrough of punk itself. Yeah. What albums have we got? The Velvet Underground. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And motherfucker, the fucking Funhouse by the Stooges. Great album, another one of my favorites, and I love this. It's proto punk, yes, but it's also fucking free jazz apparently and noise rock. Yes, proto punk usually is noisy as shit, and I love that. This album by the Velvet Underground is also really great. Another one of my favorites. Patti Smith, Horses. Ah, I wouldn't call that proto punk either, but it's another great album that I really enjoy. And more Stooges and Patti Smith again. I don't know these ones, but yeah, I know what proto punk means in that case. It's okay, but still, I wouldn't call it really a genre. But anything that resembled this very noisy and fast-paced atmosphere of punk in the 70s, I like it. So yeah, man. Yeah, man, for proto punk. Let's take a look at the next one. Harsh noise. Weird shit. Harsh noise to me really isn't music, but still, it's an art form by itself. And obviously, what you think about when you think of harsh noise probably is Merzbow, right? I think of Merzbow. I think of that album. I think it's called. What's it called? I think a Woodpecker is not the name of the album, but the name of the. Ah, yeah, it's called Pulse Demon. Pulse Demon. That album by Merzbow. I remember I listened to it a long time ago because I was just morbidly curious, right? Why would anyone listen to this shit? And after I listened to it, I realized that yes, harsh noise has really a charm. All it's more like an abstract painting than something that's supposed to be figurative. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy it. I really like the textures of the noises because it's not the same kind of noise. Actually, every single piece on that album on Pulse Demon to me sounds fairly different because yeah, it's noisy. Obviously, it's called harsh noise, right? It is noisy, but it has there is no way that one song is going to sound exactly the same as another. So they all have their own independent spirit, which I really enjoy. But I think, physically speaking, obviously, it is very abrasive. It is not a genre that I would listen to for a prolonged time because it definitely hurts my fucking ears. And I think that's kind of the point, so I don't blame it. But harsh noise, I give it a meh, man, because I think it's good that you listen to it, just to see what it's like. And you can incorporate harsh noise elements in other types of music, but as a music genre itself, I think it's kind of lacking. I wouldn't really call it music. I would call it a texture that you could incorporate into other types of music. But yeah, harsh noise. I think you could also call this project called Stalag. Stalag is a harsh noise project that incorporates this screaming from people apparently from a mental institution. It's really scary, to be honest. It's not something that I would like to listen to in the middle of the night, but it is very interesting, and I think it does its job at being disturbing. So yes, as an atmospheric device or an element that could be incorporated into other types of music, I do like harsh noise. Now I have drone metal, and yeah, drone metal is what I think about when I think of Sun O, or whatever it's pronounced. I think it should only be pronounced as Sun, but I like drone metal. It is this very slow, heavy, static approach to metal. You probably have a very low tuned guitar and you strike one very dissonant chord and you leave it there for 30 seconds, and then you change to another chord, and probably there's only 3 or 4 chords per song and all of them last for 12 minutes. That's what I think about with drone metal, and it's alright. I love it, again, as an atmospheric device. I would love to hear drone metal in a horror movie, for example, or in a horror video game. That would work great, but it's not something that I would love to listen to by itself, at least not very often, because it is very samey. At least the elements that to me seem to comprise drone metal are too defined and don't leave too much room for experimentation. Although Sun O has some very cool elements too. It has these church chants and stuff, and sometimes they incorporate symphonic elements to their music too. So that's pretty cool. But most of the times, yeah, it is. It is not something that I would listen to very often. Now we have post-bop, which is the eventual evolution of bebop, and I love it. And I love it more than bebop itself. One of my favorite albums, if you could call it post-bop, which I think it is Mingus by Charles Mingus. To me, it's one of the absolute best jazz albums of all time. I think you could probably call Love Supreme to be post-bop too. You know, it's simply the bebop tradition taken to another level, taken to another rhythmical and harmonic level, which is really great because it demonstrated that you don't always have to do jazz in one way. You could do it in many different ways, and that's great. And post-bop is another great yeah man from me. And now we have Future Garage. Future Garage. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. Let's take a look. It says here, Future Garage is a newer style of UK garage which originally developed as a result of some dubstep producers reacting against the prevalent trends of that genre. Oh. Of the dubstep producers who pioneered this strand of UK garage, the best known is Burial. I love Burial. Let's take a look. Yeah, here we have again Future Garage, Untrue by Burial. Lovely album, and we have another one by Burial, which is the self-titled. And these ones here, I don't know, but I think I get the idea of what Future Garage is. It is very similar to dubstep, this kind of dubstep at least, and it's really great. And yeah, it's very pleasant to listen to even for a long time. I am not much into it because I haven't really gotten any deeper into it. I haven't dug any deeper into this genre, but what I've heard is really good, and I would definitely listen to it in more detail. So yeah, man, for Future Garage. Kind of a weird term anyway, Future Garage. Now we have Gothic Rock. Yes, I love Gothic Rock. I love Bauhaus. I guess you could consider The Cure to be Gothic Rock too, and I love it too. Now, I have a hard time sometimes differentiating post-punk from Gothic Rock because it usually is related and merged together. But when I think of an unadulterated Gothic Rock, I think of Bauhaus, and it's one of my favorite bands ever. So yes, yeah man for Gothic Rock. Now we have art punk, which I guess it's a very similar term to art rock. I told you before, I don't really agree with the standardization of the term art rock. I don't think you should call your own band or your own project art rock under any circumstances. You should let people decide whether or not it is artistic. Well, let's take a look anyway. Art punk says, despite the genre having no clear definition, yeah, obviously, or singular style, groups perceived as art punk are generally those that combine the stripped down rock and roll style of punk rock with arty elements of minimalism, instrumental interplay, elements of traditional folk music, la 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 la, and exemplified by the Afrobeat influence in Talking Heads' later music. And I don't know, I don't like it as a genre so far. Let's see what we have here. Marquee Moon, art punk, art rock. I love this album, but I wouldn't call it. I would just call it post punk. Yeah, I would just call it post punk, not art rock, not art punk. I would just call it post punk. But anyways, it's a great album, and so is this. So is this live album by the Talking Heads. Ooh, and Pink Flag by Wire is another one of my favorite albums of all time. So yeah, art punk, whatever. I would just call it post punk, honestly. I would just call it post punk, because post punk to me is more varied than people seem to realize. But anyways, yeah man for art punk, even though it doesn't really mean anything. That's the thing, it doesn't really mean anything to me. Now we have where was I? Okay, Memphis rap. I guess it means rap from Memphis, literally, or is there something different? Ah, I missed it. Okay, Memphis rap is a style of hardcore hip hop that originated in Memphis No shit, Sherlock. Tennessee during the early 1990s. DJ Spanish Fly devised the sound, bringing the electronically produced electro over to Memphis and decided to give it a gritty spin after he wanted something that represented the bleak Memphis environment. I get it, but I can't imagine, honestly. So let's take a look. 3-6 Mafia. Memphis rap. Okay, then. Alright, let's listen. What the fuck? The tags. Dark, satanic. 3-6, obviously, yeah, but dark, satanic. Crime, violence, drugs. Okay, let's take a look. What was that called? Mystic Styles? It really does sound satanic. Well, definitely, unlike other hip hop variations that I have heard so far, this actually you can hear it in the music. Usually it's just the lyrics that make a difference, but in this case, the music is really different. It does sound a bit darker and heavier than most hip hop, so I really enjoy it. However, I think I really should pay more attention to the lyrics. I don't do it. Again, that's for me. That's my fault. But honestly, I just cannot concentrate very well on doing so. So maybe I should take a listen to any of these albums and pay attention to the lyrics. Maybe read them at the same time I listen. But this seems pretty cool. I think I could give Memphis rap a yeah, man, definitely. But I am not really sure so far. Now we have this genre, garage rock. Yeah, I think I know what that means, but I have never been really able to differentiate it much from simply noise rock, almost noise rock. For example, I have heard Sonic Youth being called garage rock sometimes, but to me it's just noise rock. And I also associate garage rock with the likes of, for example, the White Stripes, which is also very noisy and it combines blues elements and folk elements to country elements. So I'm not really sure what garage rock is supposed to mean. I think bands like the Mooney Suzuki is also considered garage rock, but I'm not really sure anymore. So I'm just gonna look it up. I know I have heard garage rock, but I just want to know what it really is. Okay, after rock and roll saw a relative decline in popularity during the early 1960s, new acts that had this genre as their main template, as well as influences such as surf rock, rhythm and blues, British beat music, and early pop rock would emerge. This is not really saying anything to me, but it says here their musical approach was distinguished for being relatively raw and energetic, generally employing simple, false box distorted guitar melodies and many times even shouting or screaming. Okay, think I get it. Let's go to the charts. Oh, yeah, the Stooges again. And 3 albums by the Stooges are considered to be garage rock. I love it. It's a really fun genre if I get the idea right. Especially Fun Houses. It's a perfect fucking album. And apparently, Is This It by The Strokes is considered to be garage rock revival. I like Is This It. I think it's a bit overrated, to be honest. Most of the music in this album, I think, it is probably too simplistic. It's not that simple is bad. That's why I changed the word simplistic, meaning that I don't know. I just don't really find anything much interesting in it. And this upbeat, happy atmosphere that the album has is not really for me, anyways. Let's see what else we have. More Stooges, King Gizzard. If Garage Rock, of course. Nonagon Infinity, great album by King Gizzard. Heavy Psych and Crowd Rock, it's pretty cool. And Psychedelic Rock, of course. So yeah, and there really isn't. I was looking for this. Garage Rock Revival, Elephant by the White Stripes, another great album. And I think it's probably my favorite album from the White Stripes. So yeah, I get the idea. It's a pretty cool genre. A bit difficult to grasp, honestly, for me, but it's a great genre. Yeah, man. Now we have. Where was I? Yeah, okay. Ambient. What the fuck is Ambient? I don't know anything about this. Let's take a look. Ambient is a type of electronic music also widely known as psychill. While not a direct descendant of psytrance or goa trance, Ambient draws heavy influence from both and emphasizes atmosphere and timbre in a similar manner as ambient music. Okay. Ambient. That's the Bient. Why didn't I think of that? That's what the Bient means. And we have World of Sleepers by carbon-based life forms, and we have Spongle. And we have carbon-based life forms again. And again, so I think I should listen to the first album real quick. World of Sleepers. By carbon-based life forms. 2 million views, wow. This sounds like music to relax and sleep to. Listen to this. It sounds like music for meditation, which I honestly don't like very much. Listen to this. Reminds me of the music of Donkey Kong Country. Too much. If you've ever played Donkey Kong Country, there's a level in which you have to, in the second game I think, in which you have to go through some thorns and there are bees and you're flying. Listen to this. It's just so similar. What the fuck? Let me even look for it. How am I gonna look for this? Bees? But it's not bees. It's like thorns. I don't know how to look for it. Yeah, this one. I think this is the one. Listen to this. Don't tell me it isn't very similar. Very chill, but honestly it's not for me. Again, all of these music that I think I told you in the previous stream about new age music, any music that to me kind of I don't know. I when I get the impression that it's supposed to be music to meditate and relax or whatever, it just makes me anxious. I get the opposite effect. But it's pretty chill and it's pretty cool. This however just reminded me so much of that. Reminded me so much of this one by in Donkey Kong Country 2. Anyways, I can't believe I made that. It seems like it isn't it, Michael? It seems like it. Like it is very fucking similar. They really seemed like they ripped off Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, pretty cringe. But that kind of music, I like it for the game, and I like it for some other things, maybe for a movie or something like that. But it's not really for me. Hi King Crimson. We're about to finish, man. Well, we're about to finish this tier, and we only have 3 more, but that's gonna be for another day. So we only have a few more genres in this one. Let's continue with Shibuya Kei. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, but I am guessing that it's got something to do with the actual place Shibuya. Okay, Shibuya Kei is an eclectic pop scene from Japan, originated in the late 1980s and popularized through the early 1990s. And the name is translated literally as Shibuya style. I don't know. I'm just gonna take a look. Oh, difficult to. I'm just gonna have to copy paste this. But video game music, yeah. Video game music again. Okay, maybe I could listen to this one. It's called Koibito He by Lamp. I'm gonna look this one up. It's pretty so far. I like this. I would listen to this if I were on a very melancholic night and I wanted to escape from my reality and go to the beach and think about life and my place in the world and my relationship with people. Listen to this. Now, give me a second. I would love a really nice guy singing this to me on a campfire with a guitar. Yeah, it's cool, but I would need to be in a very specific mood, which I have just described, in order to listen to something like this. But it's pretty. I would give it a yeah, man. Now we have the no wave genre, which I think someone mentioned on the previous stream. I don't really get it, even though I think I have heard some artists or bands considered into the no wave genre. But I am not really sure what it is trying to say, so let's look it up. Maybe without the hyphen. I don't seem to get anything. Does anyone of you know any no wave artist? I could look it up, but I don't seem to get any results here. Let's look it up in Google. Yeah, post-punk experimental rock. Let me just change this to English. Let's see what we get. Okay, a transient avant-garde music and art scene of the late 1970s in downtown New York City. Reacting against punk rock's recycling of rock and roll cliches, no wave musicians instead experimented with noise, dissonance, and atonality, in addition to a variety of non rock genres, while often reflecting an abrasive, confrontational, and nihilistic worldview. It seems like my kind of shit, but yeah, the term no wave was a pun based on the rejection of commercial new wave music. Yeah, it seems like fun, but I don't think I can tell any bands from this genre. Not now. Hmm. Well, if any of you has any suggestions of new wave artists to check out, I will do it. But right now, I cannot really give you any opinion. It just seems like fun, but I couldn't find any artists here in right here music. I'm gonna try again. Maybe I fucked up before. Yep, no results. Well, ni modo. Let's continue then. Now the next genre here is atmospheric black metal. Yeah, I love it. It's probably my favorite variation of black metal. I even have a project of atmospheric black metal called Nostalgia, which, by the way, has probably been my most successful music project. It is great. I love it. I give it a yeah, man. Now we have other two genres, which is Deconstructed Club. Now I only found out about Deconstructed Club last week when I was doing the first part of this stream. I still don't really know what it means, but I think Sophie got some Deconstructed Club vibes, at least probably on the last album. I am not really sure. I'm just gonna look it up again. Yeah, it says the 2010s, a constellation of producers and DJs in an internet context developed a common approach to merging global and regional rhythms such as trap, ballroom, batida, Jersey club, and grime, and remixing them with an abrasive post-industrial sound. The result being known as Deconstructed Club. What the fuck is this? Identified by aggressive, frantic sound design featuring metallic, explosive percussions or samples of glass mashing, gunshots, etc. The Constructed Club paints an excessive, apocalyptic sounding soundscape with constant rhythmic switch ups and atonality. That's right up my alley. Let's check this out then. I think I'm gonna get the Sophie record. I don't remember the name. Yeah, Oil of Every Pearl's on Insights. I already heard it before because I was looking for this general bubblegum bass, which I didn't know. But yeah, I think I get the idea of what Deconstructed Club is based on the music I heard from this one album by Sophie. I think I would enjoy it, but I think it's the kind of music that I know, you need to probably sit down and enjoy it without any other sort of distraction. At least that's the way I like to listen to my music. I want to concentrate on it. And probably one of these days I'm gonna listen to this one album by Sophie because it's already appeared as number one in two genres, which is bubble bass and Deconstructed Club. So it seems to be a fun time. And well, I like some of these tags. Noisy, surreal, chaotic, dense. That's right up my alley, as I said. So yeah. And here we got it again. Actually, the second album is Oil of Every Pearl's on Insights remix album. Well, seems pretty fun. So I think from what I've heard, I would give Deconstructed Club a yeah man, but I need to listen to more of it. And finally, to end today's stream, we have the trip hop genre. Well, I love trip hop. I found it just a few minutes ago. I mean, not that I didn't know it before, but I was looking for another genre. I don't even remember what genre it was I was looking for before. Let me just take a quick look. I think when I was looking for down tempo, I found some trip hop records which I really enjoy. Some of those being Dummy by Portishead, which is a great album, one of my favorites of all time, and also Mezzanine by Massive Attack. another great album and another one of my favorites of all time. So I really like trip hop, and I actually have tried sort of working into some trip hop music. And many people don't talk about this, but the soundtrack for Silent Hill 2 does include some very cool trip hop vibes. Most people associate Silent Hills 2 music with this very dense and noisy dark ambient tones, but it's got some really chill trip hop tunes. And I listened to, for example, Alone in the Town in the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. That's the kind of shit I was trying to imitate in my music when I was making it. So yeah, I love trip hop, honestly. So that I would give it, yeah, man, absolutely. So for the next week, probably we're going to look at the three last tiers on this list. Look at all we have already explored so far. So we just have a few more genres to explore. Thank you for watching today. It's been fun, and I'll see you next week. See you soon.